Hello, everybody. Excuse me. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show, where we watch old 16mm films. And that was some raw footage taken in the Southwest with, I don't know if we got to the Petroglyphs yet. This is a 12-minute film, and so, and this was, like I said, raw footage. So you could see when someone was making cuts by putting their hand in front of the camera lens, and yeah, so I like showing raw stuff like that sometimes, where it's just like, what's going on? Like, here's all the outtakes. You can see interesting things. So today we have some longer films, but this first one is an anomaly, which I'm like, wait, why haven't we watched this? It's Smiley. Is it Uncle Smiley? Let's find out.
This is a true story about a boy and a dog.
Come here. Look at this dog. Come here. I know. She's so friendly. She doesn't have a collar. I wonder where she came from. Jessie, let's go play. I like this dog. Maybe you could keep her. She's a lot of fun to play with. And she's got a smiley face. Yeah. Hey, Smiley, dog. Let's go. Come.
Michelle, your mother just called. She wants you to go to the store. Jessie, we're eating in 10 minutes.
Jessie, I better go. I'll be late. Bye, Smiley. Bye, Jessie. Bye. You better go home now. I'm going in.
Jessie, where'd the dog come from?
She showed up when Michelle and I were playing ball. You know, Mom, she doesn't have a collar, and I think she may be lost. She doesn't want to leave the yard.
Don't worry, she'll leave.
Hi, Ellie.
Hey, Ken.
Hey, Jess. Boy, does this smell good in here.
I made spaghetti sauce, and
Yeah?
we're just ready to eat.
Great. How are you, Jess? How was your day?
It was all right. Dad, there's a dog out in the yard and she doesn't want to go home. I think she's lost.
Oh, that one I saw on her way in here. It's a nice-looking dog.
She's very friendly.
Well, she'll be all right. She probably just wants to get a breath before she goes back to wherever she came from.
Well, Dad, what if she is lost? She has nowhere to sleep and it's cold outside and she has nothing to eat and...
Take it easy, Jess.
Well, if she doesn't go after dinner, couldn't we at least let her in and feed her a little so she won't freeze?
Maybe the best thing for her would be to let her be until she gets hungry enough to go home.
Okay.
How was your day?
I had a very good day. I finished 4 illustrations for the book.
Great.
You? Did you have the meeting with Tom?
I could give her the rest of the spaghetti. She likes it.
Jessie, someone's going to be awfully disappointed when that dog doesn't show up for her supper.
But she was hungry and she wouldn't go home.
Okay. Why don't you make some signs to put up around the neighborhood to say we have her? Maybe the owner will see a sign and call us.
Can she sleep in my room tonight?
Okay, but just tonight. And then tomorrow you put up the signs?
I'll make them now. Come on,
The very next morning, Jessie went out to put up the signs.
Smiley! Hi.
How'd it go?
That was all right, but I don't like the idea of giving her up. What if someone actually does call?
Oh, you know, Jess, she's not our dog. She's somebody else's dog. Think how you'd feel if you owned a dog. She got lost and somebody else found her and kept her.
But she's just the kind of dog I want. Couldn't we keep her?
Well, Jess, wanting a dog is one thing. Keeping somebody else's dog is another thing altogether. Now, why don't we just enjoy her while she's here, be ready to give her up when it's time for her to go? I want you to promise me that you won't get too attached to her.
I won't, I promise. But...
But what?
nothing.
Smiley, come here. Come on, Jess, let's go in. Here, Jess. Oh.
A week went by, and Smiley was becoming part of the family.
Come here, Smiley. Come here. Come here, Smiley. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay. Nice shot.
Oh.
Don't answer it.
Hello? Oh, hi, Russ. We just walked in the door. We thought it was a call about the dog. She's a wonderful dog. Did Ken tell you about her? Well, let me ask him. It's Russell. He wants to pick out a skate.
Sure I do.
Yes, he does. What time? We call her Smiley. Jessie named her. Okay. See you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye. 10 tomorrow.
A skateboard. Wow. And Smiley, tomorrow you'll get to meet a very good friend of ours. He's here.
Hi, Jesse.
Hi, Ross.
How you doing? Hey, this is the dog. Hiya, girl.
Nice hat.
Thanks. I got you one, too. Here. Yeah, nice dog. Your father told me all about her. You gonna keep her?
It depends. If no one calls by next weekend, we can count on keeping it.
Well, I hope that happens. You ready to go?
Yep.
Okay.
We're leaving.
Bye.
We'll be back around 2 o'clock. We're gonna get some pizza after we get the skateboard.
Okay, see you later. Have a good time.
Glad it's Saturday, Jesse?
Yeah. And sleep late.
Sleep late? It's this beautiful, you want to sleep late?
Well, you get tired, you know.
Doesn't Smiley come and pounce on you in the morning?
Yes, she wakes me up all the time.
Wakes you up all the time, I bet.
Have you ever been to the sports show?
Oh yeah, a couple of times.
What's it like?
Well, they got 6 or 7 different kinds of skateboards. What kind do you want, you know?
No, but I want one with a good kind of wheels that are pretty wide and soft. We're almost there, Smiley. Almost there.
Okay. She's so excited about it.
I don't know.
Oh, relax, Smiley. You're gonna be
It's
out in a
alright,
minute.
We'll be getting that pizza. Smiley, don't get so excited.
Okay.
Smiley's running away!
Smiley!
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 Come back here! Now what am I supposed to do?
Why don't we go look around the car again? Maybe she's gone back there. Just get the skateboard.
You know what? Let's keep looking.
We've looked everywhere. We've been looking for over an hour. Don't you want to get the skateboard?
I don't want a skateboard. I don't want anything. I just want to find Smiley. I wish I didn't come with you today. Now what am I supposed to do?
Oh, we could put up some signs. Like you did last week. Maybe that would help find her.
No way. That didn't help to find her owner in the first place. It won't help to find her now.
Well, it might work. It's worth a try. Come on, I've got some markers and paper in the car. Let's go back and make some signs.
No, forget it.
Okay, look, I'll take you home, and then I'm gonna come back down here and put up some signs for you, all right?
Sure.
Hi, Jess. Hey, Jess, what's the matter?
Jesse?
We lost the dog. She ran away.
We looked for her a long time, but we couldn't find her.
Jesse?
Hey, Jess.
What happened?
Well, we pulled up, and Jessie opened the car door, and the dog jumped out and ran off down the street. We looked for her for hours and couldn't find her anywhere. I'm gonna go back down there in a little while and put up some signs. Maybe somebody's seen her.
It's a good idea.
Jesse's birthday was very sad without Smiley.
It's been a week since Smiley ran away, Jesse. Are you gonna get another dog? I don't want another dog. To feed it and take care of it, it's too much work. But you like doing that for Smiley. So what? Look, Michelle, I don't need you to remind me. Why don't you just leave me alone? You're really touchy, you know that? I'll see you later.
I know you're unhappy, Jess. But if you take it out on everybody, you won't have any friends left.
Well, she should stop bugging me.
What do you mean, bugging you?
About getting a new dog and everything.
I just had a call about Smiley.
Did someone find her? Is she all right?
She's fine. She's coming here now, and we can have her back. A woman named Carol Brass from Arlington. That's where Smiley was from before she came to us. So when Russell and Jesse parked the car, Smiley must have recognized the neighborhood, and she ended up at the Bradleys.
When are they coming here?
They'll be here soon. How about some lunch?
Great.
There's Smiley.
Hi, Smiley.
Hi.
Hey, girl. Hello.
Look at that face. Oh, hey.
Hi, Smiley.
Hello. Hi, I'm Carol Bradley.
Hi, I'm Ellie. This is Kim.
Hi,
Nice to meet you.
Honey, that's what we call Smiley. Just showed up at our house on Saturday morning.
I didn't think we'd ever see her again. I was so
Oh,
surprised.
we missed her terribly after she ran away. We looked all over for her and even put an ad in the paper to find her.
But after a while, we gave up.
And then we found out that John is allergic to the dog. Then we saw the sign with her picture. We knew you were looking for her.
We want you to have her.
We're very happy to have her back.
Thanks for bringing her over.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Well, let's go.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Take good
Okay.
care of her.
We will.
Oh, Smiley, this is great. I can't believe you're back.
Yeah?
I just hope she doesn't run away again.
Russ will be relieved. I'll call him.
And tell him I'm not angry at him anymore.
Okay, I'll tell him.
And I'm going up to Michelle's to tell her that Smiley's back.
So they put up signs and an ad saying "found dog," and then they put up signs saying "lost dog" for the exact same dog. What a scam! It's like, I got a phone call from all these people saying that they saw signs for the dog that was found, but now I can't find those signs. All right. So not Uncle Smiley. Sorry to get your hopes up. Yeah. I'll find some new Uncle Smileys at some point. At some point, it will happen. Yeah. So mark my words. So I'm going to show off this shirt I got. This is, well, right now I'm seeing an error that drives me nuts. But this is a shirt from Michael Aguirre, who is a collector, 16 millimeter projectionist, exhibitionist in Los Angeles. He came to the show that I did in downtown LA, and he's a great guy, and he makes t-shirts. And so he made a shirt called "See It on 16," which I've worn. Maybe you've seen me wear it. But this one is, so what I like about this is that this is from an actual film. Actually, it's from a company. It's Walter J. Klein Films, of which we've shown many. Walter J. Klein was based in Charlotte, North Carolina. And so this runs before, during the countdown, which is basically telling people who are running the projector, if you don't know what you're doing, stop, because you will destroy the film. So it's a wonderful thing. What I don't like about it is the fact that he's got it on, the sprockets are a little long, the perf holes are a little long, and he has it double perfed, which it should be single perfed. Anyways, so there's my nitpickiness. Okay, so this next film, it's called Turning Points, and I got this from, I think, either Basement Films or Northern Iowa University. I'm not quite sure. But this one it's got a great 70s vibe, and the accents in this are so good. But it's about women looking to get a degree, even though they have kids and all that. It's like going back to school, getting a degree, and finally get to do what they want to do now that their kids are growing up. It's called Turning Points. Enjoy.
Girls don't go to college. At least in my day. That's how it was. A woman should be home to take care of a home and a husband. That was her role, because that's the way I was brought up.
Well,
You didn't tell me what you wanted for dinner.
use your imagination. Come on.
Goodbye. I originally had wanted to be a singer. I had loved dancing, and my mother had stopped my lessons for some reason, something I did wrong, and she stopped my lessons. I did extremely well in that. Then I figured, well, get out of school, you meet a guy, and you get married, and he takes care of you for the rest of your life. Really, you don't really have too many goals at that age. You feel you have so many more years left to live, and it comes pretty quick. Come on, open the eyes. It's time to get up. Okay, kids, pancakes okay?
Yeah.
Sure?
Yeah.
Glenn, what kind of a lunch do you want tomorrow?
Peanut butter and jelly? Good. Lance gave me the wrong sandwich.
What do you mean, Lance? What did you give her?
I gave you cheese and that's cheese or something.
She wanted liverwurst and cheese. And
Oh, no. And I got bologna.
And Glenn got the liverwurst. Right? I graduated at 19 because I had to repeat 6 months. And I went to work for the telephone company, and that's where I met my husband. I went to work on February 14th, and 2 years later to the day on February 14th, I left on a maternity leave with my oldest son. And then I had my daughter. And from 24 to about 35, before I had my third, it was very dull. There was nothing for me to do. I felt useless, and I felt just taking care of children. There had to be something more than this. And when they got to be like in the 6th grade and the 8th grade, I had nothing to do because there was nothing more.
What?
And then I had Lance, and then I had Deborah, and then I had Glenn. Come on. You're gonna eat all that?
Oh, my God. Milk?
Yeah.
This gonna be fuller.
You're gonna burst, kid.
After we can eat it, well, I'll eat it.
At work, where I work now in Alexander's, in talking to people, I just happened to remark casually that I had always been interested in nursing. And somebody had said to me, well, why don't you go to school? And I laughed, because I figured, you know, at my age now, you'd stand out like a sore thumb with all the kids. And I figured, how would the brain react? You know, your brain, if it gets like your body wrinkled, believe me, the brain has got to deteriorate just as bad as the body. And I says, how would I work it in with the house, the kids? The kids get sick, or how would he accept it? He would think I was nuts. I just didn't know how I was going to do it. So one of the girls I was working with, she's 19, but she acts a lot older. She says, come on, I'll go down with you. And that's how I went down to the college. I went ahead and got my records. And I figured, well, if I got that far and I submitted money, I would follow through. It was just something I had to try. I really had to see if I could do it. And that remains to be seen yet.
What we'll deal with today is going to be the kind of learning that's very fundamental because it starts with the simplest kind of behaviors, the smallest unit of behavior. It's organized at the level of the spinal cord, I hope we remember, and it deals with a simple connection between a stimulus and a response. Will indicate what kind of stimulus, what kind of response when we...
I felt like a fish out of water at first. When I walked into English, they thought I was the teacher. And they says, okay, now what are we going to do? I said, I'm not the teacher, I'm the student. And they just looked at me, and I didn't say anything, but it was very hectic. I felt very strange. I didn't want to talk out. When the professor would talk, I would just shut up. You know, and I figured, well, that was really insane. Why shut up? You know, that's what I'm here for. Then I found out you can be very verbal without being chastised or punished, like in high school.
The kind of behavior that's involved with this kind of learning makes up the very fabric. It's the basic texture of life. So you tell me, what do we mean when we talk about gut reactions?
When I know I'm late coming home and my husband's going to be annoyed, I have such a gut feeling of being sick
so
that he's not going to believe it.
Right. But there's another sense in which you're using the term feeling.
Knowing I was a lousy student in high school and in grammar school. I hated it with a passion. And I figured, what was I trying to prove? Was I trying to be just so they could look and say, isn't that fantastic? She's doing something wonderful. And I just didn't know if I could do the work. The reading, the comprehension, the retention, just going back to school, just the whole concept was so foreign to me that I really couldn't, I couldn't believe I was doing it. Until now, it's really starting to sink in now that I'm doing it. Where most people, when they have to go visit somebody in a hospital, they dread it. I don't. I find it very fascinating.
And 2 babies.
I am a freshman here, first year after 26 years of not going to school, and I would really like to know what curriculum I have to pursue in order to become a nurse.
If you would take bio and science next semester,
Which would be
in the
spring, right?
then you would start nursing core courses, hospital courses, in the fall.
All right, now, Mrs. Fisher, do you feel that it's detrimental at my age, which is 44 now, and I've raised 5 children, I still have 3 home. Do you feel that the brain is still active enough to learn?
We had a student here who was a nursing student who, when she started, was 67 years old.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding.
You see, before you go to school, you peel a potato one way. Your brain can function beyond what it was doing at home, outside of changing a diaper, putting potatoes on, or watching a soap opera. In fact, since I'm going to school, the soap operas seem so nonsensical, really. They're really ridiculous. And it opens up different attitudes, and I find myself getting very independent, which I know he's not going to like. But you learn other words. There were words in the dictionary you never knew were there, and you can deal with things so differently. Bill?
Yeah?
Can you cut some of that meat? Usually I do that.
Is Willie eating here?
No, he's gone for the day. I'm lucky he'll take the dishes off the table. But the house must still run the same. There's no deviance. You can't change.
Every once in a while I realize I'll do something that I normally wouldn't have done, and I just did it. I don't know why, but you do adapt, I guess, yourself to changes. Things that I would never have touched before, I might do. Not to be nice or nothing, but just you kind of do some clean dishes sometimes, before I'd never do. I just would walk away, which most people do. Her time in between work and school, some days, there's not a minute's rest, so there's no time to sit down and cook a roast, I'll put it that way, So you wind up with a couple of mistakes when you're like maybe a roast dinner, but that's no problem.
I figured there'd be problems to a point, but I felt it was the days, and he's not home days. So I just told him one day, I says, I went back to my high school, and I'm going back to, to get my records, and I'm going to school. He laughed, but he more or less knows when I say I'll do it.
Yeah, I know before she even went to work with anything, if she got a virus or something, she'd be maybe laying on the couch for 3 or 4 days with, with a terrible fever of 99 and, and dying. Now she can be dying. I say, stay home or either don't go to college or don't go to work. Hey, you're sick. And she go, shh, throw the water on her face or whatever it is and out the door and you go. And the next day she's recovered. Before it was almost terminal illness with a 99 fever. When you get a little older, you know what you want and you know what you have to do it, and you push yourself maybe to do it.
How'd you like your grandmother?
She's done 4.
You're kidding.
What?
She's young or old?
In her early 30s.
What's that?
Oh.
About 32.
Is that old?
No, you're old.
That's a piece, huh?
By the time I get everybody's meal on the table and you cut up all the meat and you sit down to a cold meal, it's like 5 after 10 after 5. By this point, I've already gotten dressed, put on my makeup, and combed the hair, so what I have to do is run out the door, get in the car, run to work. Bye-bye, baby doll. Throw a kiss. I can't reach you. Throw me a kiss. Kiss. Okay, do all your homework, go to bed, okay?
I'll go at 9:30.
No, you go with Daddy tells you, okay?
I didn't go back to work until Linda was 11 years old and William was 13. I was very bored at home, and it was much against my husband's wishes, but I did it anyway. And the idea that I could bring home my own money, no matter how little it was me, I was doing it. It wasn't that I had to go to my husband and say, I need a pair of stockings, and if he felt you had enough stockings for this month, that's it. You only get 2 pairs and you can't have 3.
Where is that, ladies' dresses?
It's both.
Yeah, 31.55 and 31.15, not 11.
Miss Stewart?
No.
Okay.
As far as getting an education, getting a degree, it's going to guarantee me, I hope, more money. It's going to fulfill something I've wanted to do that I couldn't do when I was younger. Unless the whole country just goes down the drain, you're still going to need a nurse.
I don't know. I sort of liked St. Brendan's because I was like always pulling stunts, always getting into trouble. But I loved it. I had a lot of good friends. My parents, first of all, never finished high school, okay? They grew up during the Depression, as I heard so many times in my life, and they wanted us to go to good schools, and they believed that the Catholic schools were the best because you were Catholic and because they were private. And my father worked his tail off in order to put us through these schools, and they were expensive. All 4 of us went through them. We were going in my last year of high school. I was about 19 and a half, 20 when we got engaged. And I tried breaking off with him about 2 months before the wedding, but he begged me on the IRT in front of a lot of people, so I went ahead with it. And we got married. We were married about 11 months when I got pregnant, and 9 months later, I had the baby, and a week later, we broke up. He just decided he wanted no responsibility for Danny at all, so then I was on my own. And after about a year, a girlfriend told me that she was on welfare, and she told me how she went about it, and that I was entitled to it. I had really never been on my own, like moved out of my parents' house and had my own apartment. And as independent as I thought I was, I found out how scary it could be. Like the first time you're on your own, I had a week-old baby. And that really frightened the life out of me. I wasn't, all that confidence, all that independence went right down the tubes because I wasn't sure. I said, how could I take care of me? When Danny was about, say about 8 or 9 months old, I don't know, I just decided that I couldn't stand it anymore. I couldn't stand the tension, the fear, and I had to do something about it, and I didn't like the idea that I wasn't in control of myself. So I just took the phone off the hook and told everybody to stay away from the house. And I just sat there, and each time I had a few minutes, I'd sit down and just work out everything that I thought was a problem. And after about 2 or 3 weeks, I found out that all the problems were created by me and by no one else, and that if I wanted to succeed, I could. And that's when it started. And I said, dummy, get back to school, get yourself going. I said, well, let me start slow, and I went back at night. There was an older crowd at night, people like my age and older, and I felt really good about being there. I felt good about getting out at night, talking to people, conversing, whatever, it was just really good to do it. It felt so stimulating. And then in February of '77, I went to school. Have a nice day, okay? You have a nice day. All right, now go with your home. Okay. You want to use pegs?
Where's green? That's green, right. Stop for a moment and actually let your thoughts picture for you the conduct of somebody who has thoroughly understood.
My sister was an RN, and I saw the money she was making. And when I was going to go back, I said, well, it's a good career, get into it because you can make a lot of money. I mean, that was basically, I had to find a means of support that was a good means of support for my son. I wanted to give him a future. And when I got back, I was in the registrar's office, and I ended up talking to Professor Collins. And she just said to me, look, you know, what would you really, I said, if I can make the same amount of money, you know, in secretarial work, I'd rather go back, but only on a higher level, like an executive secretary or an administrative assistant. I like business more than I do, you know, medicine. So she said, well, go back. It would be much better to go back into secretarial science, because that's what you really like, and that's what I did.
Now, instead of reading this back, just let me see the transcription done up in 5 minutes.
I think there are many, many very distinctive features of having an older woman return to class. They're not here because Mommy told them to come. They're here because they have goals that have to be met both practically and idealistically. They are very much interested in what they're doing, and I find them delightful. I also find them a great catalyst for the class, because they lend a seriousness to the class where the younger students haven't reached that level yet, and it seems to permeate.
Would you like to take 170 words a minute?
No. I need financial aid, and as long as I'm living on welfare, because I live below a certain amount of money a year, I'm eligible for TAP and BEOG. One covers the cost of all the tuition that you tap, and then BEOG is extra money. It's a stipend given so that you can buy your books, car fare, lunch money, and they send it in the form of a check once every 6 months. But without it, you couldn't go to school. If my mother ever saw me cooking like this, she'd shoot me, because she's into, you know, every meal is a big production. And I'm not into that. I don't have the time for it. You know, maybe she did, but I don't. I think this is like the trivial part of my life, cooking, cleaning. It's important that it gets done, but it's not a big important thing for me to be super successful at.
You come in.
There they go. Yeah, but I don't want you eating them without eating the rest of your food. Wait a second. Come on. Come on, eat. All right, you know what's on tonight, don't you?
Yeah.
What? Being a single parent takes up a lot of time, because you're the only one around most of the time that the child, you know, your child has to play with, and mommy this and mommy that. And then I have school taking up a large part of my time. And when I come home from school, sometimes I just want to sit down and say to someone, here, it's your turn, and there is nobody to do that with. So it gets very frustrating sometimes, and I might take it out on him sometimes, like, Danny, please, let mommy relax for 5 minutes, you know? He's only 3 years old and he doesn't understand, and sometimes I'll get nasty with him. I don't mean to, but it's, you know, it's the hazards of being a single parent, I guess. Okay, now you be a good boy and go. Tight, tight. I kind of like my life the way it is. I am in love with someone right now. I feel very good about it. Right now, I don't want to relinquish the fact that this is my home. I am the head of this house. If something has to be done, I have to do it. I don't feel a necessity for marriage. What I could do now is go out and get a job for maybe about $150 a week. And it wouldn't be what I want. It wouldn't be enough for me to support my son. And an education is definitely required. A degree makes it much easier for you to achieve the kind of salary you want. And I want a better way of life for both of us.
I used to get their lunches. I used to make sure that their clothes were out. I did everything for them. They were rather spoiled. And of course now they do their own laundry, they get their own breakfast, so they get their own lunch. So in that sense, you know, they're more on their own now than they've ever been before.
Okay. I'll see you later. I gotta get in there.
Did you guys walk the dog yet?
Okay, hurry up, Crow.
You're running late.
I left high school. I didn't finish. I left in my sophomore year. And I came to New York. And I went to work as a legal secretary. And then I got married. And I had the baby that I wanted to have. And my husband enlisted.
Bye. Yeah. Have a good day. Listen, Daddy's gonna take you to karate tonight because Kelly and I have to go to beauty parlor, okay?
Sure.
Okie doke.
When Cleve received his discharge, he came home and went to work for the New York City Police Department. And my next job came in 1971 as a dental assistant.
I think that considering where Cleve and I came from, you know, I mean, where we started out in life together and where we are now, it's not that bad. There was an incident that reversed my whole mode of thinking, I guess. And what had happened after Cleve had reached the status that he did in the police department, he was involved in a very violent shootout that left 2 men dead. And he was permanently disabled because of that. But I think that it was that it made me sit back and think, you know, about, gee, if anything had on that particular day, a month, but where would we be, say, 10 or 15 years, you know, if something like that had happened? Cleve was in the hospital. He was recovering from his wounds. And there was a dental, I don't know, a conference, I guess. I wouldn't call it a convention, but the state, I think it was the New York State Dental Association had a conference in New York City, and so I decided to go. Gloria Steinem happened to be the hostess of a workshop there. And I sat in on it. And she used a phrase. She said, quote, "Most women are one husband away from a welfare check," unquote. And I don't know. I didn't hear anything else she said after she said that, you see. Because then, too, I thought back again, you know, now what if something had happened to Cleve and so forth and so on. And I think that probably was the phrase that just clinched the whole thing. I have to do something. I went to night school, and I got my equivalency diploma. So that September, I entered Queensborough Community College.
We have 2 things to do today. First of all, I want to take care of Arlene's presentation, and secondly, I want to go into sales forecasting. So, Arlene, do you need a buyer, a volunteer? Okay, Amy, thank you for volunteering. Set the scene, tell them what you're going to do.
I worked as a legal secretary. So, and then I worked in a bank. And so, you know, business is just a natural course of events for me, I guess.
My organization is a management consulting and supply firm. And we help the dentist to establish a preventive dentistry program. And we have also developed a disclosing tablet to reinforce the program. And my position here in the office today is to sell this tablet to Amy, to reinforce.
We have a 2-year program where students take courses to matriculate towards an associate's degree. Some of them may feel that they want to terminate their education at that point and go out into the business world. Others can use those 2 years as the first 2 years of a baccalaureate degree.
Or the little cello pack, along with this instruction booklet.
Mature students are a help to the instructor. They're a help to the students. They add life experience. They tend to make the reading material more realistic with their own experiences. And a business is obviously looking for someone who's mature and who's responsible, and they tend to look more favorably upon older people. What did you think of the presentation, Joe?
She talked on the dentist level. She didn't talk on a salesman level. She's very skilled.
I chose a 2-year school because I just couldn't in my mind conceive of 4 years, you know, or more. So I said, well, I'll start with a 2-year school. I'll see how I do. I'll see how I adjust. I'll see if I can do well. If I do, then, you know, I'll make some plans to pursue a bachelor's degree. But my main worries at the time were, you know, would I be able to get through it? I feel now that I do have the ability to achieve the things that I would like to achieve. However, I do have a fear of math. I still haven't overcome that, but I think that I will eventually. After I graduate from Queensboro, I would like to get a job, but it has to be the kind of job that will permit me to go to school. I do want a job, and I do want to pursue my bachelor's degree. My husband was very hurt. That particular phrase, you know, most women are one husband away from a welfare check, that upset him. I wrote a paper on that, as a matter of fact. It was one of my better papers, and one of my best papers. And he didn't like it. He didn't like it at all. I got an A on the paper, but he didn't like it.
How you doing?
All right, okay. How'd it go?
Okay, how's everything?
All right, okay. Yeah.
Get in here and start fixing something to eat.
Okay, all right, fine. I'm gonna finish this up and then I'll be right in.
Okay.
I was a New York City police officer. In 1973, I was involved in a shootout, and I was left permanently disabled.
No, I didn't know if you were alive or not until Ma had told us.
After I found out that he was alive and he was all right, you know, I just couldn't worry about anything else because I just felt as if we were very fortunate. You know, the most important thing to me was that he was alive.
I think at that particular time, you know, I became insecure, you know, because you figure like about a year and a half I spent primarily in bed, you know, and it just felt like the whole world was moving around me, you know, and I wasn't able to participate, you know. So when she started back to school, you know, I just felt like I felt threatened. I felt like everything that I had worked for, all the principles I had collected from my parents, being brought up, that I wasn't going to be the head of the house anymore. I felt like she was just going to take over, you know, and I was going to be left with the housework. In other words, we were going to switch identities almost.
Things that are done, say, on a regular basis, like the house cleaning and the preparing of the lunches, the preparing of the laundry, and things like that. Yes, that is a trade. That is definitely a trade-off in my situation. But I think that on the other end, I think that I'm more equipped to help them with their homework. And I think that when I have conferences with guidance counselors, I'm more equipped to handle them now than I was before. But I think that had I not experienced some of that myself, I would not have been able, you know, or equipped to help them.
You know, I think that they would like to have their mother here, and they know if I am left to the kitchen, they can just about calculate what they're going to have for dinner. You know, because I'm a non-cook, and I come right out the can.
Walking face.
I'm just having the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Cleve is looking forward to me graduating.
Right, that's right.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, I am. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
You know, but I have reached that particular stage now where I'd like to see her go as high as she can in her profession. You know, like I said before, I don't feel threatened anymore. I've grown out of that particular point now. I've grown out of that. I feel like whatever she does is definitely would be a positive towards the family.
I'm at a point now where I think I'm happier now than I've ever been before in my life. I'm looking you know, I really have something to look forward to in terms of my own achievement. And at the same time, I hope that, you know, when I arrive there, that I'll have these 3 children and my husband. You know, all that is very much a part of, you know, where I want to go. I mean, I don't want my achievement to be at the expense of my family, in other words. You know, I want them to be, you know, be a part of it.
The thing I always wanted to say to other women, like, you know, if you have to be on welfare, fine. If you have to be divorced, fine. If you have to even be married and at home, fine. But don't let your life just end it there.
Or at least experience the feeling, you know, because once you get in there and you start experiencing it, you develop a feeling for it. And before long, you've just sort of worked right into the groove, and you're doing it right along with everyone else.
You don't know until you try, and I feel if a lot of women knew there are drawbacks, yes, and you're tired, and they all think, well, I don't want to have to tax my brain. I said, you can't explain to them. There's more to just staying home in a house. That you have to wake your brain up is what you're doing.
$1978. Yeah, so I'm sure that many of you who are my age and younger, maybe older, had your mom go back to work. She went back to school, and then she went back to work after we started going, myself and my siblings started going to school. Yeah. My mom got a master's in social work and started working for daycares, and eventually started working with handicapped children, and then was running a developmental daycare center for handicapped children. And she became the director, which was crazy. But I was a latchkey kid, which in hindsight was kind of great. It kind of felt, liberating. What did I miss out on? I don't feel like I missed out on anything. Having my mom go back to work, and she certainly was a professional. And after my parents divorced, she went on, had a career, and my dad had a career. And so, yeah. Anyways, it's what happened. You could say things about how the homemaker, and I think that what's her name from WoW? God, I can't suddenly remember her name. Anyways, in hindsight, look back and said, we feel bad basically putting down the homemaker because her job is just as important. Maintaining the health and both physical and emotional health of the family is important. So, God, why can't I remember her name? What a weird thing to blank on. Anyways, thanks for tuning in today. So tomorrow is going to be pre-recorded, but I did want to go ahead and make a pitch for Wednesday. So Wednesday is going to be a special show in that we get to have a filmmaker on. We're going to have John Ullman, who is educational filmmaker in the 70s, made a lot of stuff for educational television, which was then distributed to schools. He did some of the awesome Inside Out episodes. Inside Out is one of my favorite educational film series that came out in 1972. And there are these open-ended films, and some of them are absolutely devastating. Some of them are awesome, incredibly irresponsible, all those things. So he will be here live. Well, not here live, but he will be in the internet live, and you'll be able to ask him questions at the end. And this will be facilitated by Owen Gottlieb, who is a educational media expert at Rochester University. So, or Rochester Institute of Technology. Which one is he? I don't know. Anyways, so I won't be here tomorrow, but I'll be pre-recorded. But Wednesday we will be live with special guests. So please tune in. If you're as big a fan of the Inside Out series as I am, it's something to see. And you get to ask questions, which is really great. Okay, so everybody have a great rest of your day. It's Monday. I don't know if it's humid outside, but I might just stay underground. Everybody take care. We'll see you soon.